The Tom Sawyer Show is sponsored by El Patron Mexican Grill and Cantina. Happy hour is Sundays through Thursdays, 3 to 7 p.m. Check out our Facebook page for details. Authentic and delicious El Patron. Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Tom Sawyer Show, another season with Coach Sawyer talking Winona State football here on HBC TV 25. Coach, thanks for doing this again.
Yeah, here we go again. I'm very excited.
Absolutely. So this is your 21st season as a head coach at Winona State University. So I have to ask, we're only a couple days away from game day. Do you have the same level of excitement for this season than you did your very first year?
Oh, absolutely. We know a little bit more about what we're doing now than we did back then, but the excitement's the same. Is what drives everybody. Working with 18 to 23-year-old men is a passion of mine. It's kind of the teaching side of what I've been doing. But game day is the thrill, and here we come up Thursday night and we're rolling again. So that has never changed. Just as excited about that as I was back in 1996.
Now, one of the things that you probably weren't too excited about, and I've talked to you about this before, is the rankings that came out of the NSIC. They picked you to finish 8th overall, and I believe 5th in the NSIC South. And I know that at one point you said that was kind of irritating to you. So how much have you used that as a motivation factor, and how much does the rest of the team use that to say, hey, let's prove everybody wrong this year?
Well, we had a discussion about it early in camp when it first came out, and then we just went back to work. So you don't really dwell on those things too much. The reason I said it was irritating because that's just something that has never been a place where we want to be in our program, and everybody feels the same way, and so do I. And so we're going to work hard and to rebuild what we've had and to get back, what I believe Winona State can do year in and year out. The second part of that is, the kids are irritated, the kids are excited about it, but you can't win 5 until you win 1.
Mm-hmm.
And so all we've really done is brought it right back to every day in practice, try to get to be as good as we can, stay healthy, get all the parts working in the right direction, and so far I feel really good about it.
You have a very interesting schedule this year. You play 5 of the top 6 teams from the preseason rankings. Of course, you also play 4 of the bottom 5 teams, so it's either all or nothing basically this season. When you look at that schedule, I know you like to look one game at a time. Are there any stretches in that schedule where you say, we got to play our best football here? Is it best football all the time?
Well, it's both of those things. You always say that you got to play your best every week, but when you get when we have Mankato, I don't remember who's in the middle, but then we come right back with Mankato at home, and then 2 weeks later we're at a homecoming game with Sioux Falls. Both playoff teams last year. Obviously we had the big win at Mankato last year when they were number 1 in the country, and so that's a pretty nasty 3-game stretch. And finishing up 2 games at home with Southwest and Concordia. So running that stretch in the middle is going to be daunting, but it is for them too. And when you're playing in the South Division, every week you got to play your best or you walk away with a loss. And we were a couple plays away from 3 more wins last year, but that's college football, and that's what our league is. When you're playing the best conference, I believe, overall in the country in Division II football, and you got to be ready to go.
Absolutely. All right, you gave us a little bit of video of some of your scrimmage, so we're going to take a look at that as we talk now. When you had your scrimmage and the spring game and that sort of thing, what are some of the things that stood out to you about the team for this year?
Well, I think the aggressiveness and the speed of our defense was something that I was really excited about. I mean, the way those kids are playing right now, Coach Barton and Coach Lincoln and Coach Curtin got those guys playing at a very high, fast tempo level, which puts a lot of heat on people, and that's what we're after. I think that you look at really the second level guys. We know what Paul Preston's going to do, but I want to see what a kid like Tanner Remlinger was going to do from Winona, or other young quarterbacks like Big John from Blooming Prairie. I mean, you start looking at Rosa, you start looking at those guys. Are they guys that are ready to play? And we had some really nice surprises, and probably the number 1 kid that really showed up not only in the spring game but also now in our scrimmages so far this fall. 6'5" outside linebacker that's everywhere, and he'll be in those highlights too because he played great in that game. But just the middle level kids to see if they're ready, a couple freshmen to see if they're ready, and if they are, we want to promote them up and get them ready for game day.
Now, one of the changes that you told me about was that Elliot Cox, who is from Lake City, I believe, he was a running back, and now he's been switched to wide receiver. How was that transition going?
I think it's gone really well. We moved him in the spring. He was kind of prone to some hamstring injuries at the running back position, and he's a natural sprinter. He's a straight line guy, and we moved him from inside receiver. Now we got him on the outside, and that's home. So we found a home for him. It's natural for him. He's now figuring it all out. He's ready to go. If we can keep that body as healthy, he'll be a tremendous asset to us.
Also, one of the things that's kind of stood out, at least on offense, is the play of Joel Hinkie, who's basically followed Alan May, who's now one of your assistants. We'll talk about that maybe a little bit later. But what have you liked that you've seen from Joel so far?
You know, Joel's really one of those leaders on that in the wide receiver position. You know, you got Cam Johnson, you got the star, and then it's going to be who else? Everybody asks me who else. Well, Joe Hinkie is the else. He's one of those guys that has worked his tail off, you know, for 4 years in our program. He, like you said, he followed Alan May around basically. He got a few reps and some special teams. He did a great job. But he's mature. He's been through a lot as a student here at Winona State. He's a mature guy. He's ready to roll, and he can catch football.
Let's talk a little bit about Alan May then. Obviously one of your top receivers last year and throughout his career at Winona State. Now he's on the coaching side as a graduate assistant. What does it mean to have him with you?
Well, again, a tremendous guy that loves Winona State. I mean, he's one of those guys. He actually student teaching right now. So he'll be with Coach Casilius for the first half and Mary Capel the second half. So you got two great teachers here in Winona finishing up his last semester. But he brings us a wealth of knowledge. He was a student of the game. He's coaching the tight ends, which is different for him, but I wanted him to learn offensive line play and those kind of things. So with that, he brings the energy that he has for the game in Winona State. There's not too many that have the same passion that he has as an outgoing graduate.
You talked a little bit about the defense and what you saw from them in the spring game. I know you had a lot of people graduate from the defense from last year. How has that unit kind of gelled so far? Actually,
really well. We got two guys back in the secondary that didn't play last year, and Anthony and also Ryan Kane didn't play a lot last year. Andrew Spencer's healthy and ready to go, and Cervega Steele is back at corner. So you start looking at some of those guys in the secondary that are athletic, can run. They're special teams guys. You just get better by having athletes back there. Jarrett Wood and like I mentioned before, Nick Pridgeon, those outside linebackers are awesome. So we need the inside guys, the defensive line to grow up. We've got 3 or 4 guys that know those positions. They're all 6'1", 300 pounds, and they're athletic. So those guys will be rotating through there and see if we can put some heat from the middle as well.
All right, and then the last question, I guess, special teams. You have guys that set school records last year, so that seems to be pretty well set.
Yeah, they're all back. And Carter McCauley, of course, had a great year last year, kicking the football for us, and our long snapper's back. He's a 4-year guy. Our holder's the only one that left, so we got Darren Beacon holding right now, and he's doing a great job. But and then you got Mike Russell, right here from Winona, and he did a great job. I mean, we set 3 school records last year in field goal attempts or makes, and then we had an 86-yard punt at Mankato. So I told Mike he's got a lot of improvement because there's still some field left. But we had a lot of fun with that. It's fun working with those guys, and we have both those guys, or the kickers, back anyway for 2 more years.
And just quickly on the kicker thing, I know that the school record is 59 yards. That was set at Southwest Minnesota State. If there's a chance to get over 60, are you confident to throw him out there and try a 60-yard field goal?
Sure. I mean, yeah, well, I watched him do it. He can do it. He's got more. The fact the one he made was kind of a line drive into the wind. So if the situation is right, the day is right, I don't hesitate to do it. I always give our offensive coordinator a hard time, Cameron Keller, because if our offense was more effective, we wouldn't have to kick those. But we laugh about that. But when you have that kind of a talent, you want to also showcase that when the time is right.
All right, we'll take a break here on the Tom Sawyer Show, and when we come back, we'll talk with Jared Wood from the defense. It's right after this.
Go beyond entertainment with HBC GigaWorld and get the broadband experience. Video chat without buffering. Stream your favorite shows and movies with TV to go. Dominate your online games and more with gigabit internet speeds. Watch over 300 video channels, including high definition, sports, HBO, Cinemax Stars Plus, Encore Showtime, and more. Call friends and family with reliable, crystal clear, unlimited local and domestic long distance phone service. Experience broadband the way it's meant to be with HBC GigaWorld. Visit hbci.com to get started today.
Get an inside look at the Winona State University football program with the Tom Sawyer Show on HBC TV 25, brought to you by El Patron Mexican Grill and Cantina. Join me, Justin Barrientos, as I sit down with the Warrior head coach each week to break down last week's game and look ahead to WSU's next opponent, as well as chat with Winona State players. Tune in at 8 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. Wednesday through Saturday, and before every Warrior home game for the Tom Sawyer Show on HBC TV 25, brought to you by El Patron Mexican Grill and Cantina.
Integrate your business communications services with HBC. You'll be connected to the area's leader in internet and data solutions with speeds up to 1 gigabit, not to mention the most customizable and reliable telephone network in the area. Your customers and guests will enjoy crystal clear video and audio throughout your business. HBC Professional Solutions customers receive consulting and IT support, conferencing solutions, fast, reliable cloud service, and more. Call 888-474-9995 to experience the HBC difference today.
Football night on HBC is back.
When it comes to high school football, no one has you covered like HBC.
Join HBC 25 Sports this fall as we travel to local high school football stadiums to bring you our game of the week.
And now it's brought to you in crystal clear HD.
To see the full schedule of games, log on to hbci.com/sports.
Catch all your local high school football action right here on HBC.
Brought to you by Lewiston Auto.
HBC Sports, your home for high school football.
I'm nervous. I'm getting shaky.
I'm kind of freaking out a little bit.
I can't believe you're going into this blind.
I just feel overwhelmed.
I'm marrying a complete stranger.
I haven't seen him ever.
Are you ready for this?
But I'm gonna get married, maybe to the man of my dreams, maybe to the man that I'm gonna be with forever.
By the authority bestowed upon me, I proudly pronounce you.
This could be really, really, really bad.
The Tom Sawyer Show is brought to you by El Patron Mexican Grill and Cantina. They have the best Mexican food in town. Authentic and delicious El Patron. And welcome back to the Tom Sawyer Show. And Coach, you brought one of your defensive captains with you.
Yeah, Jarrett Wood is here today, and Jarrett, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome back, I should say. Been here a couple times with us in the past. And I have one question, and I'll turn it right over to you,
All
Justin.
right.
But a two-time captain, been voted in by your teammates and our staff by leading our defense again this year. What does it really mean to you to be a captain first, and then a captain in 2 years in a row?
First of all, just being a captain, it's an honor. Getting chosen by your teammates. You work every day, and I started off kind of a quiet guy in my college career, and it's kind of one of those things that you kind of build on when you get experience playing on the field, and it's an honor to be chosen by your teammates to be kind of that guy where they look to in situations, and same with the coaches. But 2 years in a row, last year I didn't expect it at all. It was kind of one of those things where I was just shocked when they called my name and went out there and didn't really know what to expect. But this year I was really hoping to get it again, and I was lucky enough to get it, and I was just really excited to lead the team again for a second straight year and see what we can do this year.
Okay.
I want to follow up on that. Last year when you were named the captain, were there any nerves when you went out for your first game?
Yeah, it was definitely a different experience. Most of the guys I was walking with were seniors, and usually you think of a captain being a senior, walking out to that coin toss. But I was ready for it. I was really excited once I obtained the role of being a captain. And when I walked out there, I was kind of ready to go and kind of got used to it pretty quick, and kind of took it upon myself to kind of try and help keep the other guys going.
All right. One of the things we talked about in the earlier segment was the NSIC rankings that came out that had you picked 8th. Now, Coach Sawyer said that you guys talked about it and you were angry at first, and then it was just back to work and you forget about it. Does that still stick in the back of your mind? You want to prove people wrong this year?
Yeah, we always want to prove people wrong, but really it doesn't really stick out really in my mind. I just they put us where we're at. That's where they put us. It doesn't really mean anything. It's all about going out there. Like you said, proving everyone wrong, and it's kind of, I think, right where we want to be, under the radar, go in, start winning some games, and get rolling in conference play, and especially in the South. Obviously get those games in the North at the beginning of the season, but once we start rolling, I think that's exactly where we want to be, just under the radar and ready to prove some people wrong.
You look at it, Jared, changes in our defense. We changed. You've been around now 5 years, but the tempo and our style right now is really starting to match the personnel. And how do you think our defense is going so far into camp, and what do we really need to do to be ready for Thursday night?
I think it's going great. This is the second year having our new defense, I believe. Guys are really starting to get it down more. It's really about communication and doing your job in our defense. Because we blitz so much that if one guy is not on the same page, he could have a big breakdown. I think that's what we saw a lot of last year. Mm-hmm. But throughout spring ball and this fall, we really focused on getting our communication down and guys understanding their assignments. And I think the personnel we have right now is great. Understanding what's going on and the whole picture around it. The coaches are doing a great job explaining to us what's going on around us, not just what our job is. So we feel a lot more comfortable this year with our second year in the defense, and we're ready to get rolling Thursday night.
Now, I know that it's an exciting time to start the season, but it's also something that you mentioned on Twitter. Very excited about Blackout Thursday, so you guys are going to be wearing your black jerseys.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that, and why is that so exciting?
It's pretty cool because this is actually the first year we got our all-black uniforms. You know, we had black jerseys in the past, but we got the pants this year and everything, so it'll be pretty cool. Night games at Maxwell Field are pretty awesome. I've got to play in a couple of them, but yeah, I mean, we're pretty excited. We thought of this idea a couple weeks ago, me and some of the other seniors and Jack. And some of the other guys thought about it, and we thought it'd be pretty cool to start the season in those all-black uniforms. But yeah, I think the guys are excited this week of practice. I mean, you can tell yesterday there was a great energy at practice, guys ready to get after it. I think we'll see the same today, but I think it'd be cool to roll out there in the black uniforms and kind of the first all black that Winona's ever wore, so it'd be pretty cool to do that.
And there's something special with those uniforms too.
Yeah, it came out of our leadership group. That you've heard us talk about our leadership program, and the guys here today are all part of that as well. But in the sleeve, on the side stripe on our sleeve, in Greek lettering, we put "Come home with it, come home on it." And when everybody that watches the show here or watches our games, they see us go over and touch the shield down at the stadium, and that represents the Warriors, going to war. And it comes from the movie, basically, it's the movie 300, when the wife says to her husband, "Come home with it" or "Come home on it," in honor of going out there and being a great teammate. And that's what we do. That's been our mantra for a while. And the guys wanted to have that represented somewhere on their uniform, so we put it on our black uniforms. Really represents, the deep down commitment that we have to Winona State.
All right, well, Jared, thank you for joining us here today, and good luck against Minnesota Crookston.
Thank you very much.
All right, we're going to take a break here on the Tom Sawyer Show. When we come back, Jack Nelson will join us right after this.
At HBC, we know it's often the little details that the customer will remember, and that's why we are committed to being attentive in all facets of our business. We strive to provide industry-leading products and services, all while providing unparalleled personal care. HBC's customer service and technical support are provided locally within each service market and are available by phone or by visiting the local offices. Call 888-474-9995 and start experiencing the HBC difference today.
We chose HBC because they're a local company. They have a big audience in Winona, which is the geographic group that we're looking for. Mel is very easy to work with. She's genuinely concerned about how our money is being spent, and she does everything she can to make sure we get the most for our money. She takes care of us. So whenever there's a problem, which is rarely, I know that I can go to her and she's going to take care of it.
To see how HBC Advertising can help your company, call Melanie at 507-474-5802. This is HBC Job Finder. Looking for a great job starting at $14 an hour or bored with retirement? First Student needs drivers now for the 2016-17 school year and for sports and after-school activities. No experience necessary, full training provided at no cost. Flexible shifts and available benefits make this a great part-time job. School starts September 6, so apply online or call 507-961-2176. For more information on this job and others, log on to jobs.hbci.com.
Someone new is coming to history. A force of nature who defies time and space. The world will never be the same.
It's a joke.
This is my dad Ozzy, Prince of Darkness and History Nerd.
History
Where do we go next?
can be a trip.
The world is our oyster, and we shall exploit it.
Pretty impressive.
It really is.
Ozzy and Jack's World Detour, Sundays at 10 on History.
Let's rock and roll.
The Tom Sawyer Show is sponsored by El Patron Mexican Grill and Cantina. El Patron is the place to go for an express lunch, 7 days a week from 11 till 3. Authentic and delicious El Patron. And welcome back to the Tom Sawyer Show, and we go from defense to offense, Coach.
Well, we go to a lot of offense.
Yeah, right.
Jack Nelson is with us today. Jack, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, Coach.
Appreciate it. It's always great to have you back. First, I want to go back before we go forward. Just a couple of days ago, you were in a tremendous downpour at St. Cloud State in your first start. Where has Jack Nelson come from that day to this day?
I think he's finally understanding football a little bit. I mean, I think that first start, I was kind of just, head was spinning. I kind of just thrown in the game, just trying to do my job. Now I'm starting to understand offense, understand what defense is trying to do to me, and now hopefully just trying to win games for this program.
Okay.
Let's talk a little bit about that first game then, as you're kind of reminiscing a little bit. How long did it take before you felt comfortable in the pocket or under center?
I don't know if it took me that long to feel comfortable. It maybe just took me a while to feel comfortable playing the college football and everything. getting used to the speed, getting used to the different size of the guys around the league. But after maybe 1-2 games, I finally got used to it. And I was just kind of playing football out there, just playing like a kid.
All right, well, Tyrant Scouting has called you the #2 quarterback in all of Division II this year. It's a pretty high honor. What did you think when you heard that?
I mean, it's nice to hear. I mean, I honestly don't know what to think about it that much. I mean, it's a really nice honor for me. I mean, it's really nice for my family. I know they're really high on that kind of stuff. I mean, all I'm focused on here is just winning games for this program. If all the nice little perks that come with it is nice, though.
Well, also, we've had a couple scouts in and those kind of things, and it's, you start getting that recognition and more of that comes. Is that a distraction to you? Is it an excitement to you? Like today, we had the Chargers were in town and that kind of stuff. What does that do to your schedule and your normal routine?
I'm really excited about it. I hope I can keep playing after I'm done with college football. It doesn't really change anything. I'm just doing my job, playing the quarterback position. And all these things that are coming with it are just things that I guess I'm just really excited about. It's opportunities in the future that I hope I can have.
Okay.
I want to ask a question kind of for both of you. Is scripting something that you do? Do you script the first several plays in the game?
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Jack.
Yeah, I mean, we'll go throughout the week. We'll see what's working during practice, and then I think it's maybe day before the game, Coach Keller or Coach Sawyer, they all get together and they'll script maybe the first 10 to 20 plays and what we think will work right away. And I don't know if you want to go off of that a little.
Yeah, what we try to do with that is, one is we try to get some formation adjustments and see if they're playing like we thought they would play or not. Different personnel groups to see if they're going to match up how we thought. But we can change it any time. I mean, it's not stuck in stone. But we always laugh if we have the top 20 or top 15 or whatever it is that week. If we get through 5 before we go, okay, I got to do something here. But Cam and I and Coach Cunningham really, we work well together and our communication is great. So we're all thinking on the same page right now. And the feedback we get from the guys in the field, all of that matters when you start looking at down distance and where we are. And they get somebody new out on the field all of a sudden. It's like, okay, do we want to attack that kid or not?
All right, I might start a fight with this next question, but I looked on Twitter, and you have predicted that the Vikings will go 12-4 this season. I know Coach Sawyer is a Packer fan. What have you seen from the Vikings that you think they'll go 12-4?
I mean, I just love what they've been doing the past couple years. Coach Zimmer is a great coach. I mean, he's got a bunch of young athletic players that I think they're gonna. I mean, last year you saw they took the North from the Packers, which they should be doing every year from now on. But I think they're a young and hungry team. They're going to be great this year.
You've held back pretty well, Coach.
I have. Well, it's Titletown and Dinkytown. When you start talking about, where you're looking at the metro areas. No, but believe me, we have a lot of fun on the team and talking about it. And, Jared's sitting over here and the Bears fan. Of course, they don't have anything to talk about right now. So it's always makes it interesting. But I'll agree. I mean, I was up and toured the stadium with a good friend of mine, Lester Bagley, and it's a beautiful facility, and it does change things. As it did for the Packers when they changed their stadium as well. So, you build it and they will come.
All right, Jack, thank you for joining us, and good luck this week against Minnesota Crookston.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take a break here on the Tom Sawyer Show. When we come back, we'll talk with Coach Sawyer about the game on Thursday against Minnesota Crookston. It's right after this. Get an inside look at the Winona State University football program with the Tom Sawyer Show on HBC TV 25, brought to you by El Patron Mexican Grill and Cantina. Join me, Justin Barrientos, as I sit down with the Warrior head coach each week to break down last week's game and look ahead to WSU's next opponent, as well as chat with Winona State players. Tune in at 8 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. Wednesday through Saturday, and before every Warrior home game for the Tom Sawyer Show on HBC TV 25, brought to you by El Patron Mexican Grill and Cantina.
Get your fixer-upper fix on HGTV. Pow! Every Tuesday.
Reporting for duty.
Chip and Joanna make dreams come true.
It's gonna look awesome.
OMG! With more challenges. More surprises.
Are y'all ready to see your fixer-upper?
Yeah! More Chip.
I think it's always fun to shake it up a little bit.
Amen.
Fixer-upper. Tuesday night at 9, only on HGTV.
Join a growing company where you'll be challenged, inspired, and valued with HBC. HBC Incorporated is a telecommunications company providing leading-edge fiber optic internet, video, long-distance telephone, and more. Join a culture that embraces a commitment to provide exceptional, unparalleled customer service. HBC currently has an opening for a Human Resources Director in Winona. This position will support the development and advancement of the HBC workforce. To learn more and apply, visit hbci.com/careers.
Our goal has always been to offer the very best TV experience and value possible. Customers often ask, why do we have to pay for a bunch of channels we don't even watch? It's kind of like this. Imagine going into a convenience store and wanting to buy a bag of chips. But to get those chips, you're required to also purchase a candy bar, a slice of pizza, a sandwich, and a pack of gum. That's how one channel you want becomes 4, 5, or even more channels in your lineup. Today, there are 6 multi-billion-dollar corporations that control 90% of the existing networks and programming. We feel strongly that these corporations should not be allowed to double or triple their rates from year to year. There are times that HBC must challenge these media companies to keep their rates reasonable. We hope you will join us in this fight. Please visit tvonmyside.com/HBC to learn more. And thank you for choosing HBC.
The Tom Sawyer Show is brought to you by El Patron Mexican Grill and Cantina. Their happy hour is Sundays through Thursdays from 3 to 7 p.m. Check out our Facebook page for details. Authentic and delicious El Patron. And welcome back to the Tom Sawyer Show. As we said, Thursday night, Minnesota Crookston comes into town, and it's a team that you've only played twice, I think, since 2010. I know they were 1-10 last year, didn't have a very good season. What do you know about them for this season, and what's been kind of your game plan so far?
They have some good athletes up there. Coach Fritzy does a nice job. We've known him for a long time. He was at Apple Valley High School for many, many years, did a great job there. We know they're well coached. They got a good staff up there. They're funded. They do a nice job. In fact, Coach Fritz's daughter played soccer here at Winona State, so I've known that family for a long time. But I know he'll have them ready to go. They've just been kind of scattered because they have trouble keeping kids there. And those things, but he'll have them best prepared as they can, and we got to be prepared to do our jobs and go out there and just take one play at a time. We'll be just fine.
Now, I'm not going to ask you who, but you've said that there might be a little jostling in the starting lineup. Do you have your lineup set? Are you ready to go today if you had to go?
Oh yeah, I think so. I think that we're still looking at a couple kids due to some nagging injuries. Nothing that would keep kids out, but that would be part of it. One kid that we'll talk about is Tanner Grand from down in Caledonia. Tremendous athlete. He was the MVP of the Minnesota State, the All-Star game this summer. He's a tremendous player, and he's right now on one of those kids that's on the bubble as a true freshman. Otherwise, you've seen everybody else play. Right now, Jack talked about the Vikings, but I'll probably still play him. I think he'll be okay. But a lot of the same faces on offense. Joel Hinkey is another name that you'll see out there we talked about earlier. And defensively, there are a couple new kids inside that are still battling for that spot as we go through the week.
What does it mean to the program to have this kind of middle of the week game at night at home?
I think it's awesome. That's college football. It's on. We watched North Dakota State play the other night in an overtime game, and just Coach Entz, who was with me for 9 years, is up there now, and your blood just gets cooking. You start watching college football on TV, and Thursday nights are a big night for football right now, and now here we are, and our kids love it. We're at home. We'll have a lot of people here, and families will be in town, and then we have 10 days off until the next one. So really, it's fun. It's just part of being around and involved with college football that makes us tick.
And then kind of the last question about personnel. I know that when you go on road games, you can only take so many players. Is that set, or are things that maybe happen on Thursday night going to determine who goes on road games with you?
Yeah, what happens Thursday will be a big determination because we can only take 55 players. And it really gets down to special teams and how you personnel your special teams. And some kids that have a great night on Thursday night on special teams might make the roster, and have a kid that doesn't play but they're in the same position that might have to stay home, because you bring 26 players on offense, 26 on defense, really limits you when you go on the road.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us, and good luck on Thursday.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
All right, and thank you for joining us here on the Tom Sawyer Show. We'll see you next time here on TV 25.